Good day and welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Ba. Yesterday, we invited each one of us to make a very careful analysis of ourselves regarding how much, or for that matter, how little attention we give to regularly nurturing our souls. As you'll recall here that we've defined soul as that creative capacity that's inside each one of us, and that it requires regular nourishment. Just like we have to nourish our physical bodies, we have to nourish our creative souls. And so out of curiosity, I want to ask you, what did you discover when you took a step back to look at how it is that you go about feeding these deepest parts of yourself? I know for a fact for myself that various creative expressions have across my entire life fed what I think of as my best self. I want to tell you a story. A year ago, almost exactly a year ago, last summer, I sat across the table from my childhood drumming idol. I've drummed for nearly 60 years of my life, and probably encountered this drummer about 50, actually over 50 years ago. His name is Bill Bruford. He was the drummer for several rock groups during the era in which I was growing up. One group was called Yes, and another group was called King Crimson. And he also drummed with Phil Collins in the group Genesis, if any of those ring a bell. He's drummed with a number of significant groups over the years. He's voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a drummer. He's also in the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame as a world-renowned drummer. He's one of the few drummers that is both respected by drummers like he is in Modern Drummer magazine, and also respected in the world of rock and roll like he is. So anyway, I sat across the table from him last year. I went to England to interview him. And I asked him a question that's perfectly related to what we're talking about today. I asked Bill, I said, do you ever find that when you write books, he's written several books, in fact, he recently, at nearly age 70, completed his doctoral dissertation. I asked Bill, so when you write books like this, have you ever noticed that when you write that your drumming is improved, almost in direct proportion to your creative writing? And vice versa for that matter, I asked him. I said, when you drum creatively, which is what he does, have you ever seen that actually feeds your best creativity as an author? And now Bill's response was immediate, and it was really priceless. It was also a bit humbling. He replied simply to me. He said, well, duh. I think Bill's well, duh response really underscores how obvious it was to him, the connection between creativity in one domain and creativity in another domain. And this is coming from someone whose entire Hall of Fame career has been at the highest level of creative artistry. It's just an obvious connection to him. So that gets us to today's assignment and today's invitation for homework. And that is this: I'd like you to reflect on how, when you allow yourself to express yourself creatively in one domain of your life, have you ever noticed how that gets picked up in other domains of your life and gets expressed in ways that maybe aren't even, they may be domains that aren't even necessarily related, like in this case with Bill Bruford, as a writer, as a drummer, and how those two kind of cross-fertilize each other. So let me give an example. When you create a meal, or work in the garden, or maybe create a new, or express yourself in some new form of dance, I'm just giving examples of that. Do you notice that it affects your work, or your parenting, or maybe your studies at school? Do they come alive in equal measure to the creativity that you've expressed in another domain? So what I'm asking you to do is to look to see how you can begin to link soul or creativity in one sphere of your life to another sphere of your life. The idea here is that you've heard this phrase before: a rising tide lifts all boats. That's been attributed to John F. Kennedy. Well, that's what we're talking about with creativity. Creativity in one area lifts boats in another area. So I'd like you to consider that, and we'll come back and examine some more about the soul of creativity and how it serves us in creating more enriched lives. We'll be continuing this conversation the next several days, okay? Thanks for joining me here at the Vitality Project. Please stay healthy, be well, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.